clouds for many, top temperatures cooler feel to the beginning of March, 6 to 9 degrees.
When does spring start?
Puerto Rico, that's for sure. All right, Louise, thank you. That's it. I'll be back at 10, but you can keep up
The
with
20th of
all
March?
developments on the BBC website.
That
Now,
must be so.
let's join our colleagues for all the news where you are. Bye for now.
Thanks, Clive. Hello and welcome to Midlands Today with me, Amy Cole. The headlines tonight. Grieving parents come together as they join calls for tighter rules for young drivers after their children were killed in a crash.
It's a complete no-brainer. It protects our children and it will save lives.
They want a new law which would prevent under 25s from driving their peers. Also tonight, police in Warwickshire crack down on shoplifting after some retailers accuse them of not doing enough.
It's not a victimless crime. We will have to pay for it.
The man whose brushstrokes are raising thousands of pounds for charity. His latest project, a pair of elephants.
And this morning's murky and foggy start gave way to rain as we head towards the weekend.
Be
There's a
careful.
chance of some snow. All the details on the way.
Your tassel on your thing was going in.
Can you
Get what? Get what? Your tassel.
Good evening. Two heartbroken mothers.
Can you just
who
put
lost
that
their
down?
teenage
Do you want some
children in
more?
a car crash
Yeah,
in
you can get
Warwickshire
three.
are backing calls for
what the-
tighter rules for young drivers. Tilly
I wanna
Seckham and
watch that
Harry
on
Purcell,
Asian man,
along
maybe
with their friend
elephants.
Frank Wormel, died following the two-car collision near Shipston-on-Stour last April. Tilly and Harry's parents are backing a campaign started by Crystal Owen from Shrewsbury.
Thank you, Jackie.
Harvey died when the car he was in
I
overturned
just put a
in
hitting on.
Wales last year.
I'm
They've been
freezing.
speaking to our reporter, Joan Cummins.
And I'm not going to have it. No, put it on.
16-year-old Tilly Seckham,
That's good,
17-year-old
actually.
Harry Purcell,
Medical.
and 16-year-old Frank Wormel
I didn't want that.
were
I know it was making me
passengers
too
in a
hot.
car that crashed near
No,
Shipston-on-Stour last
that
year.
heat.
Their deaths have left their
Yeah.
mothers united in grief.
Till 9 o'clock.
Oh, good.
Keep going over the time when she asked me to get in, the car. As a parent, it's your worst nightmare.
I've lost everything. My life is just not the same.
The tragedy stunned the South Warwickshire community.
I want to try and be a part of preventing other families, such as bereaved families, going through what we're going through. The pain is tangible. The pain that we are experiencing on a daily basis. Your life is put on hold.
In total, more than 1,300 young people were killed or seriously injured in road collisions last year. A petition started by Crystal Owen, whose son was killed in Wales, is calling for greater restrictions on young drivers, preventing them carrying passengers aged under 25. It's prompted the mums to speak out.
There's been other bereaved mums that have been in contact with me, and I know that they've had petitions going. Why can't we all add our petitions together, because we're all working for the same end result? Why does it take 100,000 signatures before they'll take notice? Do you want to know 100,000 deaths before you'll do anything about it?
I just wouldn't want anybody to go through the pain that we're going through. Why wouldn't you sign this petition? Why wouldn't you want to try and protect our young drivers, our young passengers in the car, and just save lives?
All the parents say they know it's too late for their children, but they hope a change in the law will help someone else avoid heartbreak. Joan Cummings, BBC Midlands Today, Warwickshire.
Police forces across the Midlands are coming under increasing pressure to crack down on shoplifting. It follows a spike in the number of offences and growing complaints from retailers that they're being failed by a lack of action. Latest figures show that between September 2022 and 2023, offences rose by 38% in the West Mercia Force area, 34% in the West Midlands, 20% in Warwickshire and 12% in Staffordshire. In a special report, our correspondent Ben Godfrey has been to Nuneaton, where police are stepping up patrols.
So these are all from Blades. I have 2 now. I don't believe in people stealing, especially from such an honest family business.
When it comes to confronting shoplifters, Mitchell Ward bears the scars. Nuneaton Toolbox, he says, has been repeatedly targeted by young and old, brazenly filling bags, and by gangs stealing tools for use as weapons.
The scale of it is unprecedented. By the time you fought off one shoplifter, you had another one, because there was no response from the police. It was constant. The whole town's experienced it. It's not just us. We were just brave enough and small enough to be able to put a barrier across the door. The big chains can't do that.
Warwickshire Police categorically refute any suggestion they're not taking shoplifting seriously, and our cameras join them on patrol.
Police, can you open the door, please?
PC Tom Shorthouse is a newly appointed town centre beat officer covering both Nuneaton and Bedworth. His role is about building trust with retailers, arresting shoplifters and chasing up outstanding warrants.
Just in 2 months, I've had roughly about 20 arrests, a large number of detections, positively detecting crime, investigating offences. We are dedicating proper resources to this now.
Nuneaton's Safer Neighbourhoods policing team say their strike rate is high, putting twice the usual number of thieves before the courts over the past year. Community orders are also being served alongside jail time.
What we're seeing now is that shoplifting reports are on the rise, so are detections around that as well.
There are, it seems, some businesses that have lost faith in the police. How are you going to restore that faith?
We are here to support business in that respect, and that is giving them confidence to report to us. And if you report to us, I'll give you my word that my officers will do absolutely everything they can to ensure we get a positive detection, not only for them, but also for everyone else.
Shoplifting offences are up across the country, but the cause is nuanced, not purely driven by an escalating cost of living crisis. We've been told about organised crime gangs carrying out large-scale thefts, but also an increase in homelessness, people being plunged into drug and alcohol use and feeding their addictions. Charities are the perfect storm. At the centre, vulnerable people needing wide-ranging support. It's late afternoon and some local school pupils are suspected of stealing from a newsagent's here in Nuneaton. They're soon found and spoken to, and their school will be informed.
It's not a victimless crime. We all have to pay for it, and hopefully we can get some positive results that way, not needlessly criminalise young people.
Children as young as 10 are being caught shoplifting. Sharing CCTV and radio communications is enabling many shops to work closely with the police to identify prolific offenders.
What's your work on?
So that's the butane, that is.
Back at Nuneaton Toolbox, this is a business behind a barrier.
Harsher sentences, that's what he's doing. A deterrent of some sort. You can count police on the street, but you will not see a week, not just a day anymore. You don't see police on the street.
Ben Godfrey, Midlands Today, Nuneaton.
Well, Propholders from the British Retail Consortium, which recently published its annual crime survey. A little earlier, I asked them just how big a problem shoplifting had become.
Don't have it.
Our latest BRC crime survey shows that the cost of retail theft has doubled from around 900 million in 21-22 to around 1.8 billion in 22-23. This is a massive issue which costs not just retailers but all of us who go shopping, who ultimately pay the price in the form of higher prices on the shelves for those goods.
Do you think that police forces are doing enough? Your crime survey seems to suggest not.
No, the low level of prosecutions and the fact that retail theft continues to soar suggests we need much better prioritisation of retail crime. And our survey showed that around 60% of retailers thought the police response was either poor or very poor. In short, not good enough.
We've also noted that there's been a rise in violence and abuse towards retailers, which is deplorable. Why do you think that is happening?
The worry is that people are getting away with it at the moment, that when people aren't getting what they want, they feel that they have the right to be violent or abusive. Common triggers include age verification when people are asked, or indeed shoplifting. So when people try and stop someone who might be shoplifting, if shop staff try and prevent it, they often are met with a term of abuse or even violence.
What sort of impact is that having on the victims? People are trying to do their job.
Yeah, it's traumatic, you know, everything. It's not just the actual violence, of which there's far too much, but even the racial or sexual abuse that people are faced with. That can affect them, it affects their colleagues, their families. It's something we need to tackle urgently. We would like to see a standalone offence.
Some people want a criminal record because they don't want a good life.
Similar to what exists in Scotland, and that would allow the police, who would be forced to measure all these incidents and categorise them in a way they don't now, to see the sheer scale of this issue and to allocate the necessary resources to stamping it out once and for all.
Tom, thank you very much for joining us this evening. A look at the day's other news now, and the family of two women who were murdered in Solihull say Labour Party plans to place domestic abuse specialists in 999 control rooms will help save lives. 22-year-old Raneem Uday was killed alongside her mother, Carla Salim, by her ex-partner in 2018. Labour says a so-called Raneem's Law will transform the way officers handle cases of violence against women and girls. The Home Office says ministers have gone further than ever before to tackle domestic abuse. Urgent and emergency services at Hereford's County Hospital are in need of overall improvement, according to the Care Quality Commission. It follows an inspection which saw the hospital's safety rating drop to inadequate. It was criticised for having an overcrowded emergency department and an over-reliance on agency staff, but its care status has been rated as good. Victims of the contaminated blood scandal protested in Westminster earlier, calling for urgent action to compensation payments. The government has previously been accused of dragging its heels since an inquiry recommended full compensation for victims last year. Among those demonstrating was Ros Cooper from Bewdley, who was infected with hepatitis C as a child.
My health's been affected. I've been unable to work since 2007. Like I say, I wasn't able to have children. I mean, they're massive things to assess. Basically, if the compensation framework is put in place, what I will expect to have is people asking me to explain the impact on my life.
Well, speaking about the issue at Prime Minister's questions today, Rishi Sunak said ministers were amending legislation to speed up compensation. 2 years after the Russian invasion of Ukraine, a group of women refugees has been sharing their experiences of fleeing the war and trying to rebuild their lives in Herefordshire. Since 2022, the Diocese of Hereford has opened its doors to help some of the 800 refugees who sought peace and sanctuary in the county. Peter Wilson has been to meet them.
Alla Mihai playing her own song. Alla was a TV star in Ukraine for 20 years. Today she played for me on a piano belonging to the Bishop of Hereford. She misses her old life.
I want to show my music, my poems to everyone. But I can't because I don't know English very well.
A group of Ukrainian women meet at the Bishop's Palace in Hereford. All have stories of loss, but also of hope. Sandra remembers the fear and panic as she and her daughter tried to escape the war.
Some trains we just couldn't get in because there was so big crowds. For example, in one coach, it should be 52 spaces, but people try to get thousands of people in one coach.
8 million people had to flee their homes when the Russians invaded Ukraine 2 years ago. Britain has welcomed 250,000 refugees. The church in Hereford has helped over 500 Ukrainian refugees, nearly all of them women and children.
It's really important to have a community where I can
Now the baby Litchfield.
Tell about my
Only for 3 years.
our problem, our country, our mental.
Oh, they need to think about. Oh, now they need to get all court and things happening just to make sure they can stay
Not just to
permanent.
the Ukrainians, but also to the families who opened up their homes.
Hosts can come and ask questions and get support, where refugees can come and be welcomed, practice English, find support, ask their questions, and where supporters can come and say, look, what can I do to help?
Look at me!
Hopes to be able
Come back!
to perform here one day.
Come back!
Hello.
Peter Wilson, BBC Midlands.
Happy 2024.
Some brave women there.
Yeah,
Recent
they know what my name
figures
is.
suggest that just under
Isn't it
6% of people with
Maxi or
learning
Maxim?
disabilities are in employment. That's despite 65% wanting to
Wouldn't
work.
I?
One trailblazer is
Yes.
25-year-old Ed Daly,
Yeah,
who has Down
I-
syndrome. He's a ranger at the Tittlesworth Reservoir near Leek. We sent our Staffordshire reporter Liz Copper to meet him.
Funny
Carrying out
Maxi.
the first of his early morning
Oh,
checks
Maxims.
outside the
Oh.
Medical Centre at Tittlesworth.
Yeah,
Ed Daly
love,
has
love.
been a ranger here for just over a year.
Maxim Funny.
In the outdoors.
Oh, bless him.
By helping
Bless him.
nature.
It doesn't matter what disability you have, you're still got to work.
It makes me feel happy. It does, being...
But not all people think that.
Ed's part of a team of 5 rangers caring for this wildlife haven in the
Not
Staffordshire.
even going to mention any names, just going to say that the Lord likes it. As long as the Lord likes it, that's the main thing. All people, and
Yeah, we've got
all...
all sorts of people in our church.
You have to go over and
Oh, I think that's,
like these on fence posts that I've been putting up.
yeah, and you may have like Down syndrome maybe or something. Just you.
And,
I don't think
and
so.
yeah, it makes me feel great really, to see how it grows.
Oh, she's lovely.
I would say to anyone
What was the very thing
thinking
that
of
when she
hiring
first
someone
came?
Yeah, because you were weird.
that it's a fantastic thing to do.
Unhygienic.
Overcome your own barriers and your own stereotypes
Well, no,
to doing that.
she's
Because,
fantastic.
yeah, I've never looked back on hiring Ed.
She remembers my name.
Part of Ed's job is to welcome visitors of all ages. He's been supported by an organisation that's part of the Down Syndrome Association. It also helps to train employers.
We always say never limit the expectations of your colleague, because actually once our candidates are trained in the right way, they will continue lifting expectations, as Ed has done in his role with being a ranger here.
Because they might have had swords.
But
really.
they got
And
the teaching assistant.
And I love being
She's
in
done
the fantastic team here.
She's got
Ed's
cerebral
hoping to
palsy.
encourage more companies to
She
employ
got
people
cerebral
with
Is that when
Down
you can't
syndrome
walk properly?
and help develop their skills
Yeah.
and career
how sad.
ambitions. Liz Copper,
Some people
BBC
can't
Midlands
walk,
today, Tittlesworth in North Staffordshire.
Some people may think that it's negative.
A ban on street racing across Birmingham and the Black Country has been granted by the High Court. The order
Oh,
prohibits
thank
drivers,
God.
riders or passengers
So we all
also known as car cruising, anywhere in Birmingham, Wolverhampton, Dudley, Sandwell and Walsall.
Yay!
Breaching it could
Yeah, we all in the West Midlands, the Black Country and Birmingham have no
Organisers of the
conclusion.
long-running Iron Bridge Coracle Regatta in Shropshire say the event is under threat unless more volunteers and sponsors come forward. The event has been held on the August bank holiday since 1881, but rising costs mean the group behind it may not be able to keep it going. The regatta usually attracts coracle paddlers from all over the country.
Coracles have been on the river in Iron
The
Bridge
April and May one.
it probably goes back thousands of years. The last coracle man died in the 2000s,
Oh,
and
in
we
April?
have been trying to keep this tradition alive. It's just a really important cultural event in Iron Bridge. It's
I don't have
fun,
no
it's
bank
free,
holiday.
everyone get involved. It's been
Because they may be remembering his bloody.
If you're a fan, you'll be pleased to know that the Florida entrepreneur Shilen Patel has completed his takeover of West Bromwich Albion Football Club. Patel and his father have bought more than 87% of the shares in the parent company. He says it's the start of an exciting project to regain Albion's standing as a consistent Premier League presence. In football, Wolves are hoping to join Coventry City in the quarter-finals of the FA Cup tonight. They take on Brighton at Molineux, where the visitors have won each of their last 3 visits, scoring 10 times. The game is live on the BBC iPlayer, Red Button and the BBC Sport website. And staying with football, last night Darren Moore was denied a first win as Port Vale manager in dramatic fashion at Vale Park. But in League Two, Warsaw's rise into promotion contention continued with a 4th straight win. Nick Clitheroe has more.
Before kick-off, Walsall fans paid tribute to former managers Chris Nicol and Jan Sorensen, who both died in the last week. Once the game began, there was initial frustration as the Saddlers dominated but found themselves trailing to Jack Nolan's penalty. The performance personified their new fans though.
And you're captain then? Yeah. And I won.
To draw the sides level. And then continued his fine goal-scoring form with his
Look at how monkey.
late on. That result lifts the Saddlers into the playoff places on goal difference. In League One, Darren Moore seemed certain to enjoy his first win since taking over at Port Vale. They took the lead when Jensen
That's how I know I'm going to have
and doubled
supper.
that advantage when Ethan Chislett's penalty put them in control by half-time.
I don't mind if it goes cold or wedding.
I do want to take a touch.
Jayden Stockley scored for Fleetwood. There was still time for him
It's okay being cold because you know it would be lovely to matter. But it being hard isn't good.
But at the same time, I'm looking at it as that it stops the rot of those 8 or 9 consecutive defeats, really. So that's how we're looking at it.
Cheltenham goalkeeper Luke Southwood was unlucky to finish on the losing side at Wickham. His penalty save was the highlight of his performance. The home team scored twice in the last 4 minutes to take the points. Shrewsbury Town goalkeeper Harry Burgoyne also saved a penalty, but it couldn't prevent them losing at Lincoln City. Lassie Sorensen's incredible follow-up to the penalty miss completed a 3-0 victory for the home side. And Burton Albion were also beaten, Paul Huntington scoring the only goal for Carlisle at the Pirelli Stadium. Nick Clitheroe, BBC Midlands Today.
An artist from Birmingham who paints sculptures for public art trails has helped to raise more than £170,000 for charity. Amrit Singh, who's known as Mr. A Singh, began his full-time career in 2017 and he's just finished his 50th piece of work, a pair of elephants, which will be on show in Staffordshire in July. John Bray has more.
Applying the finishing touches to another creation. Amrit Singh has a passion for creating public art sculptures.
So far, I've done 50 since 2017, which is really, really exciting. This year alone, I've said yes to 12 sculptures, which is the most I've ever done. So I'm currently working on an elephant sculpture for St John's Hospice for a trail called March of the Elephants, which is coming to Lichfield, St Caulfield, Tamworth this summer. This sculpture I've done multiple times. One of my favourite sculptures purely because of the size, and it's a great canvas to work on and create your own artwork on. And this one that I'm working on actually is for Lichfield Cathedral, and it's a stained glass window inspired artwork. Every time there's a new trail, I do have to think about, right, how can I create something which is different, but at the same time is also in my style. People know me for my style, which is vibrant colours, bold patterns. The really nice thing is I create art alongside teaching, which I'm very, very passionate about. So for me, because I absolutely adore inspiring the next generation, kind of seeing young people's eyes glow at the idea of what they can do through content and digital media, really, that with a combination of art is what keeps me going and keeps me fresh with ideas.
Amrit's creations are auctioned off after being on display. That has so far raised £170,000.
Since being involved with so many hospices over the past few years and helping raise thousands for them, I genuinely really respect and appreciate what they do for the community and for the local people.
So we're going to have over 60 elephants live across our patch. They're here to raise awareness of our hospice, and at the end of the trail they'll go to auction and they'll all be auctioned off to support our families and patients.
Every single day is a learning curve. Every single day is something which is an exciting opportunity, and that's something that I genuinely get excited about.
It's so good. Well, if I had to paint today's weather, I'd only need the colour grey. I mean, I might throw in a bit of black as well, but it's been truly miserable.
Yeah, you are not wrong, Amy. The Weather Watchers pictures say all, don't they? And very much so. This is a grey picture, maybe a little bit of black of the tarmac thrown in there. And it was a pea super for some this morning. We had some really thick fog through the morning. But Friday even, is the start of meteorological spring. The weather did not get that memo because I'm afraid it is going to be rather unsettled, and there is the potential for some snow. I'll come on to that shortly. Out there today, as Amy said, it was pretty grey and miserable, and we had the return of some rain, which really is something we don't need, and we have got more rain to come as we head through tonight. That rain will be with us through the course of the overnight period, and there will be some lingering showers through the day tomorrow. It is also starting to turn colder. The air mass chart really tells the story. So we've had that wedge of warmer air over us today, but as that cold front sneaks through tonight, behind that we're introducing Arctic air. It is going to make the temperature drop like a stone, and when this weather system arrives, as it meets that is where we could get that boundary with some wintry showers. So through tonight we have still got some cloud lingering, then we get that cold front. It's going to be lively, there could be some rumbles of thunder in there as well, and it's going to start to drop the temperatures, but overnight tonight they will hold up between 7 and 9. So through the course of the day tomorrow, as that front clears, although it is taking its time, we'll start to see that temperature dropping off. To the south and east, we will keep some rain. It will come wax and wane through the course of the day, and there will be quite a lot of cloud hanging on. Temperatures tomorrow 7 to 10 Celsius, but like I say, they are going to start to drop through the afternoon. And then we get that front finally clearing. Behind that, some colder, clearer, fresher air, temperatures dropping, and then look at this. As it meets that colder air, that weather system, we could get some wintry flurries. Now, they're likely to be over the highest ground in the region, but we could get a few bits further south. As we head through into Friday, that front clears away to the north, wrapped around it the potential for some more wintry flurries. So stay tuned to the forecast, Amy.
Oh, great. So we need white paint for snow splotches. Lovely. Thank you. Right, well, that was the Midlands today, and I'll be back at 10:30 with your late update. Do enjoy the rest of your evening. Bye-bye.